But I think the thing that I hope people are really paying attention to is you got to count the costs because it's not just what the car costs, which is a big factor.
Yep.
It's what it costs to insure it, and the insurance rates are going through the roof across the country.
Everywhere.
And we're talking about people are financing cars at 84 months.
That's crazy. Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
the podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it.
Hey, honey.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good. We are back at it, coming up with more things to talk about that we think people can benefit from. So
I see you got your glasses on today.
Yeah, I just wanted to look intelligent.
Yeah. He wanted to look intelligent.
Well, I am intelligent.
That I was going to say, okay. All right. Yes, sir, you are.
Look, I haven't worn glasses in a long time. Like almost 20 years. So this is
And you are very proud of that fact.
Yeah, it's my first pair in 20 years. So
what are you looking at, babe? You just want to look the part because
there's things I need to read. And look, let's get into what we want to talk about today. Why are you making this about me right now?
Because you kind of look cute with your glasses.
Well, thank you. Well, why don't you just start with that?
You look
cute. Just say, honey, you look so cute and distinguished with your glasses.
You add the distinguished part. I wasn't saying all that.
Well,
but it's true. It's
true. The plan is to get out of my business and get all up into your business.
Okay, all right. So what business are we getting into today?
I think it's going to be a interesting conversation simply because this is driving up in people's driveway and literally getting in their business because we're talking about cars. And is it time to upgrade? And is it even necessary? Because I ride around and I see some cars on the road, and I'm from Detroit. I'm a car guy. I say I love cars, and Ericka knows that. If I could have 10 cars, I probably will have 10 cars.
When we watch Pimp My Ride,
you done went way back.
Yes.
That show has been off the air for a long
but we
time.
have watched it. Or, what is it, MTV Cribs, and we see people with their, multiples of car vehicles, and it's like two people that live in the house and they got 20 cars. He is like loving it. He's like, what they got?
Yeah, I just think it's funny. I think that's like Rick Ross. He's got an obscene number of cars, but I mean, that's his passion. So, and he can afford it. But look, some people out there do not need to be having 2, 3, 4, 5 cars when you got credit card debt, mortgages, and all that other stuff.
And let's be clear, some people don't need a car payment when they're trying to do some of these other financial things. I'm honestly appalled at the cost of vehicles nowadays. When we're on the road and you say, look at that car, and you're like, that's $90,000, that's $100,000. My mouth is constantly dropping open because I don't, in my realm.
Times have changed.
Yes,
Times have changed.
In my realm, the reality I try and stay in, it's not real. Like I can't even imagine $100,000 vehicle.
I think it would be a fairer place to start. Is that we are an anomaly.
Yeah.
And simply the first part of that is because you are not a big fan. I mean, you like cars, you like a nice car, but you're more about, you see a car as transportation solely. It's not about a lot more than just that.
I want it to look good. I don't have a specific, maker or model all the time. I'm like, if it looks good and it gets me where I need to go and it feels good to me, I'm good. And I This is a strong word, but I kind of feel like I need to say I detest getting a new car.
That is a pretty strong word.
Because all I can think about is how much money is going out the window every time you drive it when it's brand spanking new for the first 3 to 4 years. Like, the depreciation is obscene. And so I just can't bring myself to do it because I just think it doesn't make financial sense. That's not everybody's story. I get it.
I think it goes back to the fact that you just see it as transportation.
Sure.
And you're not excited about you know what I'm realizing? You're not excited about change.
I do not enjoy change. You
because
are correct.
When it comes to getting a new car, or let's not even talk about cell phones, you will protest getting a new cell phone.
Because I've been traumatized by
I get it.
And it taking hours to get my information from one to the next. And so even though it doesn't do that anymore, see?
Ericka.
PTSD.
We are in a new day, a new time.
Just
the transfer of data is a lot easier now.
It is, but I just don't feel like dealing with it. And if my phone is working fine, why am I paying more money? See, they got you leasing phones just like you lease vehicles.
All right. Let's stay on the car topic.
Okay. You started it.
We'll come back another day.
He started
and
it.
talk about cell phones.
Anywho.
But I think just to level set for people, I said we were anomalies, and that's because you don't like spending money, or you don't like the change associated with maybe getting a new vehicle. Except I love cars. I'm always here for it. I'm always looking for the next car. But we're an anomaly because I have been very fortunate to work for companies that have provided me with a company vehicle for nearly the last 20 years.
And how often would you get a new vehicle during that time?
Ooh. Man, it depends.
No, you said the other day how many cars different companies have given you. Man. And I was surprised at the number. I didn't think it was that many. So how many cars has it been that you have gotten?
I think I'm on my 11th car.
11 vehicles.
Yeah.
We've been married 25 years.
That's a lot. I've been working where I've received this benefit for about 20. So it's about every 2 years I would get a new car.
That is a blessing.
Yeah. And that changes the things. That changes things for us. Because I know that, we have a car now that it's a really nice car, and it does not have a lot of miles on it.
My car or your
car?
Company? Yes.
Your car.
Okay.
It doesn't have.
Yes.
It's got
you said
80,
we have a car. I'm like, hold on. What are we talking about? Which car is this?
Right, well, hold on. We meaning our assets.
That's true.
You drive it.
Right. You're right. Because we don't have the company car. That's not our car.
This is going to be an interesting episode today.
I'm just seeking clarity. I don't know.
I think there's something in the water. What did you drink before you came down?
No, so you put the glasses on. Everything changed. Seriously. Let's just, yeah.
This is, I hope you guys are laughing right along with us because this is fun.
Anywho.
But I mean, probably 11 cars in 20 years.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a major benefit to have. And if you're going to work, hey, I want to get all of my benefit.
Absolutely.
And so I know that has altered how we have purchased cars, because in 25 years, as far as what we have purchased, let's see, how many cars have we purchased?
That's true. Let me see. Okay, so we've had the Cavalier when we got married.
Those don't count.
Oh, but
those two. Well, I guess
it was a vehicle we had.
And we had
and then your 626, which I thought you was rolling. I don't know why I thought that car was so awesome. I was like, he got a Mazda 626.
That's how I rolled up on it.
I know. I was thinking, he got a I was thinking he got a real car. He got a for real car.
Yeah. But we had those two.
And then we got the Infinity.
Yeah. Then we bought
the truck.
Yeah, we bought a Yukon. Then we bought the Lincoln, and now we have a.
So we bought six. Well, we bought.
Seven. We bought 5 vehicles.
Yeah, we bought 5 vehicles.
We bought 5 vehicles, and
half.
But that is like crazy, because in 25 years, most people would say they bought way more than 5 vehicles.
Yeah.
Is what I would guess.
And how we kept the Infiniti and we kept the Yukon
We
for
kept
a
those
long
for a long
time.
time.
A long time. The only reason why I have the car now is because my previous car died.
Yeah. We would ride a car into the ground.
Yeah.
You know, we would take care of it naturally. So don't be out there judging us.
But my car is actually 9 years old.
Yeah, but your car has 80,000 miles.
I know. So I mean, the family vehicle in this house doesn't get all the mileage, and that's the benefit that we have. And it you know, we've been talking about cars a lot, and you know,
so I think this came up for us because you know, I've recently made the transition to electric cars, and this has just been a whole new world, a whole new experience, and it has prompted us to think about buying a third vehicle, which would, you know, in 20 years, I ain't had my own car. So
right.
I've always had this underlying, you know, desire to have my own vehicle that I chose and selected. And even though, just to be clear, we buy used cars. Okay.
Yeah. We
buy cars that are 2, maybe 3 years old that have low miles on them.
Yeah. And so a new to us vehicle, meaning that's something that you have been thinking about, because the company vehicle is not a road trip car.
The present one, the road trips that we may have taken in the past, we don't feel as comfortable taking in the present and future.
Yeah, it's not as convenient. Yeah. And in my vehicle, sure, we can take it on some short road trips, but it's actually a smaller, sporty kind of car.
Yeah, it's not as comfortable.
It's not meant to be driven on long distances, and
so
in my opinion.
It's interesting that you're saying this, because I think my position may be changing.
Okay, anyway, so let's talk about it. What is it that you want, dear?
I just want to buy a car.
Yeah.
I want to buy a family car that would be, you know, comfortable, nice. We could take you where we want to. And, you know, I don't even know why I'm saying take you places, because we don't even like to drive long distances.
No, we don't. That's true. We only really drive to like a couple states around us.
Right.
But I don't blame you. I have to say, honestly, I do not blame you that you actually want a vehicle of your own that is your choosing. And because here's the thing, those 5 vehicles that we purchased for us, one of them, you and I were pretty much neck and neck on. Like, frankly, it could have been more of your car. Let's just be clear. Right. Let's be clear, because you put some rims on that Joker. You know that was back in the day, and he wasn't rims on that.
Right.
But most of those were my choice. Let's at least say the last 2 or 3. Those were my choice. So I think that
you understand.
I do understand the quandary.
Yeah, but at the same time, we are very practical.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
I just can't see spending a whole lot of money on a car that potentially will just stay parked in the garage with a car cover on it.
So let's
talk about, if I'm buying a car, it's going to be with a car cover in the garage.
Because what kind of car do you want, honey? Tell us.
I have a couple cars in mind, but you know, primarily there's one that I like, and it's a, you know, more of a luxury sport.
And how much is it going to cost, babe?
Well, I guess the important thing is that it is, I don't know, even used, it's probably be like $60,000.
Okay.
But you know, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Okay.
It's a lot of money to just sit parked in the garage.
So the other option that we were talking about was
buying an old school.
That is another option you were talking about. Yes.
Yeah. See, I don't have no sleeves on, but I'll keep something up my sleeve.
I know. And this is driving me crazy. Do you see? I mean, my face, I'm like, I can't even keep up. So, yeah, you want an old school.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool. But, you know, why do you want an old school?
Because, you know, I keep it old school. You know, they don't make cars like they used to.
You definitely keep it old school.
In the late 60s and 70s, even though, you know, I was only born I wasn't even born in the years that the car I won. I wasn't born, but
You are avoiding all of that. That's so
old school
funny.
muscle cars. It's just something about them.
Yeah.
But I think this is a quandary that is new to us. But today, people face,
Yeah.
I think, different quandaries because it's not even about buying a third car.
Right.
It's about how do we afford
Mm-hmm.
the current car that we need to drive back and forth to work.
Yeah.
Or to, take the kids to school or whatever. And the price of cars has soared.
Yeah.
I saw someone driving, I see all these SUVs on the road, and I saw someone pulling out of our neighborhood with, a GMC Yukon Denali. I was like, that's a $90,000 car.
And when you said that, I was like, I can't even imagine that.
It's a regular car. It's just,
yeah.
I mean, it's nice, but it's not like, you driving Mercedes Maybach or, something.
Cars are expensive, period.
Right.
They're expensive. And nowadays people are spending $35,000-$40,000 just on a regular vehicle. Like that's not even, you can get you a Honda Accord. Am I right? Is it? So that is not like brand and getting it used. We still spending tens of thousands of dollars on a vehicle. And honestly, like call me,
Our daughter, when she graduated, her car was a little compact, little small car, and it was 2 years old.
And it was still
It was
$25,000.
$25,000.
Yeah. I mean, call me old. I mean, like you said, old school. Part of me is like, I'm stuck in the dark ages on it. I'm not even joking. I feel like I'm stuck in a different time because I can't wrap my mind around a vehicle of that cost. Even my car is a lovely car, but I didn't pay. I think I had a threshold. I actually think I had a threshold of spending.
But if we had bought it new,
Yes.
it would have well surpassed your threshold.
It would have.
That you had for spending.
Right. Yes.
So, but I just think like, today it's really tough for people to just make all the ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we're talking about two different things. We're talking about one, people are in situations where they're struggling to just be able to afford a car note.
Yeah.
And car payments have gone like through the roof.
Right.
And if you're on a journey, if somebody's on a journey to get out of debt or do some things, you gotta make some decisions because you might have to, pay cash for an older car and ride that for a season and enter into the season that we're starting to talk about,
Right.
where you've gotten out of debt, you have built your savings and done all those things. Because part of the way I feel is that, okay, I've done the hard things.
Mm-hmm.
And life is short. You only live once, YOLO.
Yeah.
I should buy this car now. I shouldn't wait until, I always see it's the silver hairs that are driving all the nice luxury and sport cars. How many old men do you see driving Corvettes?
Yeah.
I think the Corvette to old guy ratio is like 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
Old silver-haired guy,
Right.
driving his dream car that
The
he'd waited his whole life.
The midlife crisis moment.
Yeah.
I think that I get it.
I
get
do
it.
have some gray hair.
You know what? I wasn't gonna point it out, but I was
like-
looking right at your chin. I was like, is that what's going on here, babe?
But you know what? They say gray
You need
hair
you need your Corvette equivalent. Is that what we doing?
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
But you have admittedly said that you're going through a midlife awakening. Like you call it that instead of a crisis. Because I definitely don't think it's a crisis. I don't think that's anywhere close to what you're going through. But I think you're shifting in your thought process. And I feel like a lot of times, sometimes it takes that in order for you to do things outside the box, So I feel like one of the things that, is challenging is sort of figuring out what the priority is. And one day we were coming into the driveway and I was looking around and imagining a third car in our in our garage because, you know, we have 3-car bays in our garage.
We have a 3-car garage.
And then we also have a spot on a bump out on our driveway where the car is really not in the way. So it could be 4 vehicles there, right? So when we have people here or whatever, you know, that kind of worked conveniently with the girls driving and all of that. So I looked and I was like thinking like, okay, if he had his old school, which he wants covered.
That can't be.
It can't be outside, you know.
You know what's going to happen?
But
you're going to have to park your car outside. That's what's going, because if I get an old school and I get, you know, my new school, you know, and then I have my company electric car, it's got to charge, you know, so that really means like.
The only saving grace I have is that this is actually being recorded. That this actually happened. Ooh, he said I got to park outside. He said I got to park outside to fit. Okay. So back to the regularly scheduled programming here. I was thinking about his old school perchance being in this garage covered up and us maneuvering around it every single day. We passing it by because he got to get to his company car and I got to get to my car.
Right.
And of course,
it's got to be covered because
let's
people
talk
can't
about
put their hands and.
I'm not driving that car.
Scratches.
If it's the old school, I'm not even touching that car. There are things in his possession that I will not touch because it's not going to be me that messes it up.
Yes.
Anywho, so, and I was thinking about the insurance.
This should be the episode that, like, you know, blows us up, that just breaks the internet.
And I was thinking about
this is funny today.
I mean, even if it wasn't the old school, would it be the nicer luxury vehicle that you're looking for, and it's taking up a bit more space or a lot more space, if you will, than the old school, and just maintenance and making sure that we keep these things, you know, their value, if you will. You know what I mean? Like, I was thinking about all this stuff. And I'm like, is it worth it?
Yeah, I would naturally take it out and drive it.
Sure.
You know, all of those things. But I think
we live in a snowy climate.
Yeah, well, you know, it'd probably be, you know, I had to keep it away during the snow.
I know, but again, I was thinking of all of these things.
Yeah. But I think the question I have is when you're talking to, you know, clients, or we encounter people and they ask for our input around what they should do, people are trying to determine if they should upgrade, you know, because I know a lot of people, as soon as a car breaks down, the first answer and response is like, oh, we got to get a new one, or we got to, you know, buy a new car so we don't have any problems that we inherit from someone else. And that is not always the answer, because there are a lot of very, very gently used cars that are out there. And a perfect example, we have some friends that just bought a car that was 3 years old and it had 14,000 miles on it. Beautiful. I was like, that's a brand new car.
It's beautiful.
You guys just got a smoking deal because low miles, low years. And nobody's going to look at that car and say, oh, this car 3 years old. Nobody can tell.
Yeah. And you're going to want something like that.
Basically.
And so here's the other part of this, right? Is if we were to get another vehicle, the third option. So we talked about you want an old school, or you want a nicer, like just a for real car, like for traveling and actually using them more often.
Just a daily user.
And I keep my car because it's paid off. Or the third option was we just get rid of my car and use those dollars to buy one nice vehicle, not the old school.
Yeah.
But the nicer
one car
vehicle
that would kind of be like my car.
But I drive it all the time.
That I let you drive.
No, see, this is where we're going to have a problem. See? This is the quandary we have been in. And so
because if it's one car and it's any of the cars on my list, I'm going to need you to, step your game up, you know, because you can't.
What in
can't
the
be hitting
world?
No curbs, you know, can't be leaving stuff in there.
My car is clean, first of all.
Yeah, your
My
car
the
does
inside
stay.
of the inside of the car stays real clean.
Yeah. I think you do a good job compared to some people
I don't
out
get as
there.
many car washes as some folks do,
Yeah,
but
the inside
the
stays
inside
clean.
I don't have a junky car. I don't play that. So
But if we got something else, then I would probably just
do the extra.
assume the care routine
See,
for the
and
car.
you know what? Now that we're talking about this, see, this is the challenge because you'll be monitoring how I behave in this vehicle because you're gonna see it as your car. We got a problem.
Yeah.
See, I'm glad my car is running well. My baby can keep us going for a little while
Well,
longer.
I did say that I would take your car. And
You don't want my car.
No. I said I would take your car and that would become my car and you could get something else.
Yeah,
But you were like, I like my car. I was like, cool.
I do. You don't want.
Cool.
I,
So
I
you
feel
keep
like
your car.
you just threw that out there.
You
Just
keep your car, then I can get
to
something.
take it off the table, like, oh, you just negated what I said, so I gave you the option to get you a new car, and I feel like that's how you put that out there. Like, I'm gonna let her think she can get her a new car, and I know she gonna say no because she don't care about that stuff. See, you know what? 25 years.
You care more than you say.
Mm-hmm.
But I think look, we're realistic. This is a abnormal situation.
It is, but I think that here's where I think that most people can relate is that cars are a big purchase.
Yes.
And no matter what the quandary is, the cars are a big purchase. And you know what? You even said to me when you were talking about you can get another car, the car I want. When I realized what the maintenance was, no.
Maintenance,
I didn't care. I knew what it cost.
Yeah.
But the maintenance, I was like, oh, hold on a second. I don't want to sign up for that.
Yes.
So
that's a difference maker. So
it was, but I think that those are the things that we're talking about. Whose vehicle is it? How much do you drive? How much gas mileage are you gonna get out of it? You know, who's gonna keep up with all of the repairs and keeping it looking good? And you know, those are things that everybody has to consider.
And I hope as people listen to this, true, we're talking about a third car, or we're talking about consolidating, our wants into one newer car, because if we got rid of your car, we still wouldn't buy a brand new car. We would buy a used car, a gently used car. But I think the thing that I hope people are really paying attention to is you got to count the costs, because it's not just what the car costs, which is a big factor.
Yep.
It's what it costs to insure it. And the insurance rates are going through the roof.
It's changing
across the country.
Everywhere.
And we're talking about people are financing cars at 84 months.
That's crazy.
Which, that is insane. That is 7 years.
You know what?
That's 7 years.
A $40,000 vehicle to purchase on a 6-year term is still over $600, almost $650 a month. And so when you think about it, it's like, wait a second. I mean, it's a big part. And that's also something I think about is our cash position not changing, not getting a car payment. How do we maneuver and upgrade without, a detriment to our financial situation and the freedom? This is the other thing. Getting out of debt affords you freedom in your cash flow. And I want to keep that.
And I think that's the question that people have to be asking themselves is like, how are we going to fund this? Are we getting a car note? Are we paying cash?
And how long you gonna have a car note?
Yeah, I can't even imagine or fathom a $600, $700, $800, $900 car note. And I've seen
times two. A lot of families have it twice.
So if you got two $800, $850, $900 car notes, that's as much as people pay. That's more than some people pay for rent or a mortgage. And it's a depreciating asset.
Yeah. So be careful. I think that's the cautionary tale right there, is just be careful that it doesn't derail the other goals that you have.
Yes.
Because a nice ride is cool, But once that coolness kind of wears off, because honestly, that's the thing that happened with your company vehicles. Like it's a beautiful car.
And well, I think the company vehicles, they actually satisfy our new car want.
Yes.
Because I get a new car every couple years, and
but I would say the newness wore off on this vehicle. Like we thought it was beautiful. You were so excited. You got to choose everything. But when we realized how challenging it can be to maneuver long distances in this ride, we were like, oh,
yeah,
it's
that's
pretty.
the whole
Pretty, but how practical is
that's
she?
the whole transition from gas to electric. But
some of that stuff wears off.
I'm a ICE, internal combustion engine kind of guy.
I think hybrid is the way to go. Honestly, I think we need to beef up our hybrid vehicles.
Yes, I think hybrids are a great
It's an option. I think that's the option.
But they cost more.
Yeah.
And they require a different level of maintenance. But it's like you got to count the costs and think about all of that. So as people are listening, I just hope that they are having a robust conversation like this before somebody says, I'll be back, and they come back with a new vehicle.
Yeah.
Or just like house hunting, house hunting and car hunting are very, very dangerous.
Oh.
Because you say, well, let's go look and see what's out there for a car. Next thing you know, you're pulling into the garage with a $75,000 sport utility vehicle that you had no intention on buying. Well, maybe you did, because a lot of people fool themselves. And they go out thinking that we're just going to go look, and then they come home with a vehicle, which we would never do, because
I would fall out and die.
Well, don't do that. I wouldn't do it, because
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
I respect too much what we're doing together to try and derail the plan, even though, we could do it and it wouldn't change the course of life. But that undermines the trust and the relationship that we have. And so when we talk about, like, we've said all this stuff, but when we talk about make it worth it, what would be your make it worth it from, upgrading or buying a new car or another car, or, a third car? And we didn't even touch on the fact that people with teens, young adults, and the need to buy, cars or invest in them, because we didn't buy our kids cars. We said we'll match your savings. And as they were saving and they determined what they wanted, they paid half, we paid half. And they were invested in the vehicles, and they took care of the vehicles a little bit better because their money they worked hard to earn that money. So don't just go out and buy your kids cars, they need some skin in the game. But you're make it worth it. What would you say to make it worth it around car buying?
Honestly, what I would say is don't be afraid of a robust conversation that doesn't end in an answer right away. Because I don't think that we actually have a solution. I don't, and so we're not going to take any action because we don't have a solution. And we're just going to keep, maybe exploring or, going and looking at vehicles.
I think this will happen like every 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, and so I think
until we make a decision. Right.
And don't be afraid to disagree on a major decision. Like, you may not have the same thoughts. And I think that's because we're not on the same page exactly with the car desire, first of all, as well as the interest in it. But that's okay. I think be okay with having a really lively, conversation about it, because you never know what'll come from it. And we've been talking about this for like months. And I think that
we've been talking about this for almost a year.
Yeah. And I think that it has evolved over time, and we're not married currently to any solution. So I think it's healthy. I honestly think it's healthy just to be open and to listen to each other, even when you don't see what the answer is going to be. So make it work. Just be open. What about you, babe?
Well, I think the make it worth it for me is like really count the total cost and see if it's worth it. Because for us, even if we're buying a $60,000 car and it's going to be parked in the garage, half the time, it's like, man, is that how I want my money want my money tied up like that.
Mm-hmm.
Or would I rather have the money in the bank making money for me? That's a quandary I'm in, and my insurance may change. I'm paying more there. And then, you really do have to just count the costs and decide if it's worth it to do it for you. I'm glad that we're having a conversation because it's actually made me think about some different things, because I could buy old school for a lot less than $60,000. By the time I'm done with it, it might be worth $60,000.
We can't go back to this. See, you going back to it. It's a whole different conversation right here.
But I think
TBD TBC.
I really think people have to just stop and think about, are they making a good, smart decision? Is this investment worth making?
Yeah.
And if it's not, stay where you're at. Keep doing it. Now, if your car is broke down and, it's not worth anything and you have to make a decision, that's a different story. But I would even say in that moment, count the cost.
Yeah.
Don't just go out to the first dealer and buy the first thing just because this is what you like when, your budget is not hitting like that.
Right. Be mindful.
Yeah, so I'll say that. But yeah, this has been interesting today.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm glad you were open to talk about this whole car thing because, it's your deal. I don't,
people, you can't grow up in Detroit and
Yeah.
not be a car person.
Yeah, that would be.
All my 313ers out there, they know what I'm talking about. They know what's going on.
So this is to be continued.
My father was a car person, He used to keep some whips.
On that note, honey,
we're out. Thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
we appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on ForBetterAndWorth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.